Hey guys, welcome back to the OMG It's Derek podcast. Today, I'm missing my co-host, Mr. Codations, but I am joined by a longtime friend, I guess I would call him at this point. We've known each other since we were teenagers. Well, at least he was a teenager. I think I was a little older. Back in the day of playing laser tag, running around buildings like hooligans. But it is my good friend, Nike, as everybody knows him on the internet. Again, I think the last name you use is Finesse. At least that's your tag on most things. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. But I'm joined by Mr. Nike, and we are talking about content creation and his journey of going from starting content creation. What's it been, about 3 years now, Nike?
Yeah, almost 3 years. Almost
3 years. Going from you were brand new to content creation when you jumped in, right? You weren't creating anything really anywhere else at that point. And that's kind of when we hooked up again and started chatting more and stuff again, is when I started noticing you posting content on the internet. And I'm like, damn, this kid is fucking good at comedy. You know, he's good at making these videos and stuff. And I don't know if I reached out. I don't even remember how it worked. I must have reached out to you because I don't even know if you knew I was doing content and stuff, but I reached out to him, was like, hey, how can I help? And that kind of rekindled that friendship, and we've been kind of chatting back and forth ever since. But Nike went from starting creating content about 3 years ago to now, if I am still correct, I believe I'd asked you a while back and you said yes, you are making content full-time as your career, as your daytime job, whatever you want to call it, which is really dope, man, in just 3 years time, honestly.
Yeah, man, it's a beautiful thing, honestly. And I never thought I would be in a position to where I would be able to do that. Nor did I think that ever down the road that this is something that I would love to do. I'm a type of person to where I love to make things. Like I get satisfaction off of creating things. So back then it was music. Like I used to love making music. I would make beats and make songs, and then I always had a love for creating things. But I never seen myself ended up making content. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Actually, now that you say that, I do remember. I think the first video I saw was a Nike original song. I think that was the first thing I actually saw. Because again, when we started talking again, you weren't doing TikTok yet. You were just I think it was just on Facebook, to be honest. You were posting some stuff here and there.
Facebook and Instagram. It was those two.
It might have been Instagram then, but yeah, I know you weren't on TikTok yet. You were just starting, and I think it was music that I first saw you doing. Is that kind of where you started when you were posting it, or did you start with comedy right off the?
No, I started off with music, and what I kind of did was the first video I actually posted, which only a few people know. It was in a parody contest. Like they posted this contest on YouTube, and it was like, make your parody of your own song, but obviously keep it PG or whatever the case is. So I made a song called Lil Debbie Eating Problems, and there's a song called called Problems by A$AP Rocky, Drake, and Kendrick Lamar. Yeah. And I turned it into a parody and made it about Lil Debbie's. And I posted it on YouTube and got second place as far as whatever it goes. But I posted it and people loved it. Like I was still working at Ponderosa at the time, bro. Like people loved it. That was my first video. So it was kind of a blend between music and comedy because it was all my own lyrics and all my own shots too. But that was the first actual video that I posted on any type of social media.
And what made you decide to jump into that contest? I mean, was there a specific thing that happened that you were just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do this?
What happened was, okay, I loved watching the old Viners, old content creations. Like there's still people that I watch to this day that I've always watched back then. And I'm like, dude, they just having a good time. They're clowning around. They're making videos. I think that's dope. But I was like, I want to put my own spin on things. I think Weird Al was popping at that time too. So I'm like, Weird Al is fire too. So if you mix comedy and music, you have something similar to Weird Al, but I want to put my own twist on it. And that's the whole reason why I wanted to enter in the contest anyway, because Weird Al is the GOAT. Everybody loves Weird Al. So I wanted to kind of put my own spin on things. And that's how the first video got started.
When you did that, did you at that moment, I mean, was there any part of you that was like, because you said you would watch Viners and stuff, and I know I'm surprised Vine died, honestly, but that's a whole nother topic. But that was some good content. But at that time, since you had experience with watching Viners, I'm sure you had seen some of those people blow up and make a living from that. When you posted that video, was there ever the thought at that time, that beginning stage, that you thought that this might be something you could do for a career? Or was it just more like, you thought it would be fun to do? Kind of where was your mindset at when you first released that first video?
So when I first posted that video, my mind was like, this is fun. I enjoyed the whole process of shooting the video. I enjoyed the process of making the song. Like I enjoyed this. And in my mind, I'm like, this would be a dope career. But me being realistic, I'm like, I would never be able to do something like this because I live in Ohio. You know what I mean? Nobody's gonna, you don't hear very many stories from people making it out of our area. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to that, when it comes to that. So I'm like, there's no way I'd be able to do this. But so it was more about the fun for me. But in the back of my head, I was like, dude, I would love to do this full time. I would love to do this.
And then you saw Jake Paul and Logan Paul become famous, and you said, "Oh shit, they're from." No, I'm just kidding.
Right, not for real. That's so
weird. Yeah. They were the first kind of people, outside of you that I dealt with in Ohio that was like that actually blew up, and I'm like, "Oh shit, okay." Doesn't matter what. Like the cool thing about the internet. Doesn't matter if you're in Ohio. Doesn't matter if where you're at, which was really that was kind of that first awakening moment for me with it. Because I had, like you, I'd always kind of loved that stuff. I'd always been a part of Vine, early social media. I mean, I was in Facebook back when you had to be. I was in college at the time, and you had to be a college student to use it. So I've been around it my whole life, but I never really had that moment personally of like, oh, this could be a career. And for me, it was when I heard of Jake Paul, Logan Paul. I don't consume their content, but when I heard of them and saw they were from Ohio, and then actually even seeing you go and do it, I was like, oh, wait, you can do this anywhere in the world. Doesn't matter where you're located. Doesn't matter if you're in Silicon Valley or not or whatever. So it was really, really dope. So, okay. So you create that first video, you're having fun with it. So then obviously, was it because you won that then caused you like, okay, maybe I should create more videos? Or because you said at that time, I wasn't really like, I thought, I live in Ohio. I probably can't, do this or whatever as a career. But for some reason you kept going. Was it just the fun? Was winning that kind of like, did it set you up kind of thinking like, oh, maybe I am, and I don't mean to, but like good enough to do this, or what caused you to keep going after that?
So back then, we're talking about when you used to post a video or a picture and I used to get over 30 likes. I was like, yo, that's fire. So when I posted that video and I got second place, it was over on my channel. It was over 1,600 views. And I'm like, 1,600 people watched that stupid video I just made? Like 1,600 people, they liked it? And I was getting positive feedback. Of course, you got your peers and people that know me. They're like, dude, that was hilarious, man. You should do another one. But when you see 1,600 people, that's a huge deal to me. So I'm like, maybe I should keep this going. So I actually did 2 other parody songs after that, but they didn't do nearly as good. So, which is okay. But obviously that kind of steered me away from doing parody music. But at that point, I just enjoyed creating things. So after I made those 2 other songs, I took a break from social, I guess you can call it a break because whatever, but I took a break from social media, and the next video I uploaded was in 2017.
Okay.
That was the next video. And that the parody video was like 2012. So I guess when you say when did I first start, it was obviously a little bit longer than like almost 3 years. But when I started actually pushing, that's been about 3 years. But the first video, that Little Debbie video, I think it was 2012 or 2013 one. Okay. And then after that, my next video that I actually posted, I did very well, was in 2017. And then I stopped posting after that too. So it was kind of like I always enjoyed it, but it wasn't, I didn't want to say it was a passion. It was more for fun at the time because I didn't feel like I could make it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, after that, I think it was 2017 was the next one.
And was that a music video parody as well? Or was that when you switched to starting to do like because I see you nowadays as a comedy skit person. Like I see you do skits more. So was that still at that time, 2017, was that music or was that skit?
That was skit. Because after I tried those 3 first music videos and the one did really well and the 2 kind of flopped, I was like, and then I started watching the Viners and everybody grow up into content and things like that. I'm like, you know what? I think I could do that. So the next video I posted was, I don't know if you're familiar with this dance called the Billy Bounce.
Yep.
Yeah, that was my next video I posted, and I turned it into like a longer form. Like I'm at the house, and you hear a knock at the door, you open the door, and it's the Billy Bounce guy. So he does this dance with his legs or whatever, and it's actually my dude, you be funny, you funny B. I'm sorry, you funny B. His name is Bernard, but he created that dance, and I just did my own version of it, and it kind of took off on YouTube, and that was my other gateway. That one did 66,000 views, and I'm like, wow. Again, when you're going from 1.6 to 66,000, you're like, yeah. And I'm a small town, so
right. And what platform was that at the time? Was that
That was YouTube. That was YouTube.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So
And
I
when
was
you
like,
said it was a short video, do you remember about how long that was at the time? Like, was it like
that
a,
video was 3 minutes. It was
3 minutes?
3 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I actually remember that video. I mean, I don't remember it, but I remember that one. That might have been one of the first ones I saw of yours after the singing, but because I saw the parody one also. I remember, I don't know which parody it was, but I know I saw one of the parody you making a song one, but it was not back in 2012. I saw it later, so I don't know if you did that and it did well, and maybe you reposted one of the old parodies. Did that happen?
Yeah, I reposted it a couple of times. Honestly,
okay.
I did.
I think that's then when I saw it, because I didn't see anything before 2017, but I do remember that. I remember it blowing up, and I was like, oh man, this kid is good. But anyways, so okay, so you were doing that on YouTube, and then when did you get into TikTok?
So funny story. You actually encouraged me to get into TikTok, because what it is me and you had a conversation, and you hit me up because, again, you did reach out to me. You seen me doing content on Facebook, and I believe YouTube. You seen me, and you reached out and you were like, hey, TikTok is a new wave. Like, and what you say always holds true to me, because if it wasn't for you, I don't think I'd be in this situation that I'm in right now, because you definitely helped me out tremendously. You have no idea. So when you reached out to me and you were like, bro, I think you should hop on TikTok. And I was like, well, why? He's like, because it's new, it's upcoming, it's fresh. Like, you always want to be the first one on new platforms. Even if you try it and the platform flops, kind of like Byte. When Byte first came out, I hopped on it. Did it pop? No. Some people were holding on to Byte because it was 6 seconds. It was like a recreation of Vine. So they hopped on it, and it didn't do as well as TikTok did. But I tried it too. So if there's any app coming out, yeah, you want to try it, you taught me that. So you told me, it's like, hey, bro, hop on TikTok. I think it's a good waypoint for you. I'm like, all right, say less. So I hopped on TikTok and I posted my first video. And the first video did 10.7K, and 10K, basically 10K. And I'm like, whoa, 10K, that's weird. Then I posted a next video, because at this point in time, when you told me to reach out to TikTok, I was still doing Instagram sketches. Like, before this,
you were, not to interrupt you, but you were doing Byte. I think that is because you had mentioned Byte, and I said, I think I said, oh, no, Byte sucks. Yeah. TikTok's the one that's gonna win. And I think that is when you jumped on TikTok. But yeah, I think you were creating on Byte at the time, which it was limited, I think, to 6 seconds. When TikTok came out, when they first came out, they weren't a minute. They were only 10 seconds, I think.
I think it was 15.
Or 15, maybe 15. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, not to interrupt. But yeah, I do remember you were creating on Byte at the time too.
Yeah, so I was creating on Byte, and I was also creating on Instagram. And at that time, the only brand deal I had was with Bang Energy. But you reached out to me and you were like, hey man, check out TikTok. So what I did was I was posting new content, but I was taking the content from my Instagram and just reposting it over on TikTok. And the second video I posted, it was about heat kills all bacteria. So what it basically was, it was me and my dude, and I'm cooking on the grill, and I dropped some chicken on the floor. He was like, and I pick it back up with the prongs, and I put it on the grill. He's like, bro, you really gonna cook that? I'm like, yeah, bro, it's fine. Heat kills all bacteria. And I put it on the grill, and it goes back to him, and it shows his reaction. And when I take it off, it's like freshly cooked gourmet chicken on a plate. He was like, wait, what? And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm about to clean my shoes. And I put my shoes on the grill. He's like, bro, that's disgusting. You putting shoes on the grill? I'm like, bro, it's fine. He kills all bacteria. So it pulls off the shoes, and they're brand new shoes. Like, and I did it with this, we used one of his friends, and it was this girl, she had a bunch of dirt on her face, and I put her face on the grill. He's like, bro, you're hurting her. You're fine, bro, it's fine. He kills all bacteria, or whatever the case is. But that was just a joke of that one. I posted that one, and it did 4.5 million views. And at that point, I'm like, I think I got something here. You know what I mean? I really think I got something here. And I just kept posting as much as I could, and grew a following on TikTok.
And do you remember, so you started with those first 2 videos. How long did it take you to, what was your first big milestone that you remember hitting on TikTok in terms of maybe followers? Or when did that, you said, I know you were working with Bang, because I remember you working with Bang early on. When did that next brand deal or what was kind of the next big moment for you? Because you had Bang, you started posting on TikTok, views started going up. Then what happens?
So it's funny that you say that, because my milestones, I actually have a folder of my milestones and dates of when I started TikTok. And like every time I hit 50K, I have 100K, I have 150K, I have 300K. I have every milestone that I hit in a folder to like remind myself of how long it took me where I started. But I think that what I first what I wanted to do is I wanted to hit one video that was a mil, and it's crazy because back in 2017 I made myself a goal list of who I wanted to meet and the milestones I wanted to hit. So the first one was get a video over a mil, and that second video that I posted did 4.5, and I was mind blown. I'm like, yeah, so that was my first milestone right there. The second one was hitting 50K, and believe it or not, with TikTok is such an easy, I don't want to say it's easy, but it's the easiest platform to grow on nowadays. So I hit 50K within the first 2 weeks of me starting TikTok. Because that once they find one video, a lot of times on the way the platform is set up, it's so smart. Whoever designed TikTok's platform is a genius. It's so easy to double tap and press that little plus. So it's easier to gain followers. The most important thing to me is now comments, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But it's so easy to press that follow. So within the first 2 weeks, I had 50K. Then I was like, oh, next I want 100K. And I believe it took me a month, and then I had that 100K.
A month additional or a month total?
A month total. Total. And then after that, that's when the growth started to, I don't want to say it started to slow down because, it was still going pretty quickly. But after 100K, it started to decrease a little bit, and I had to find my own way. So TikTok, the way the algorithm works is different. You know what I mean? It's different. You can have one video blow up and you post tomorrow and it won't get that much love. And it all depends on watch time and who sees it at the right time. It's all it takes is one video. So after I hit that 100K, it slowed down a little bit. You know what I mean? I had to find my own way. And I think once I hit, it probably took me maybe another 2 months to hit like 150K. And once I did that, it's all trial and error. You just follow the trends and see what works for you until you find out what works for you. You know what I mean? It's literally like conditioning your audience to like what you do. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I think, and once I hit 100K, it slowed down a little bit. But the next big milestone that I hit for me was when I hit 300K, which I think it was probably about 5 months in when I hit 300K. If I think I'm correct, it was 5 months in, and that was the next milestone that I hit. And the second brand reached out to me. It was Empower. Actually, these headphones that I'm using right now, that was the second brand that reached out to me. And it was nothing crazy. They were just like, hey, can you create a video, use our headphones or whatever the case is. They gave me free reign to do whatever I wanted to do. And when you're a content creator and you're just starting out and you're not making any type of revenue, when somebody reaches out to you and say, hey, we'll give you this for free, all you gotta do is make a video. You're like, yo, that's dope. That is dope. I just made a video and I got 2 sets of free headphones. And to me, that was a win. But that was probably my next big milestone was the headphones.
Yeah, I remember the first time because you do a lot of comedy, I do a lot of gaming content, and I remember and I also do a lot of tutorials for streamers on like how to up their gear and stuff and how to do certain things. And so because of those tutorials, those have kind of always been my heavy hitters. What get me, I have tutorials, and reviews of products for streamers that have over 50,000 views on YouTube. And so those are the brands that reach out to me and get things like microphones, cameras, and you're right. It feels like I still don't make tons of money off of but I get the free gear, and I'm like, that's the coolest thing in the world, man. It just feels great because you're like, I'm using this stuff anyways. Now I don't got to go spend my own money buying this stuff. Yep. So in a way, it's kind of like you save money, which is kind of like earning some money.
Yeah.
So then, all right. So you get you hit 300K. You get second brand reach out headphones. When do you hit 1 million on the platform?
Oh man, 1 million. The 1 million came, I'd say, about 9 months into me having TikTok, and I started in September. So horrible at math, but 9 months in is when I hit my mil. It was about 9 months, and before that, the brand, it wasn't a brand, it was a talent agency that reached out to me when I had like 700K, and it was my first talent agency. It was Melon Seed Media. I'm still working with them right now, and they reached out to me. They were like, hey, your content is silly. Have you ever thought about actually backpedal a little bit.
Sure.
When I hit like 500K, that's when this guy, his name is Josiah, he works for What For Apparel. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he works for What For Apparel. And I was doing these Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, and Burger King.
I remember those.
And people love those. And it was just like taking what I do is I just take a scenario And Chick-fil-A is pleasant. Everybody loves Chick-fil-A. They have really great customer service. He makes them overly nice. My form of comedy is taking the truth and just stretching it, exaggerating it to where it's like unbelievably ridiculous. So Chick-fil-A is always overly nice. You got Burger King is like the middle ground, and you got McDonald's, which is like rude, completely rude. And I had these catch slogans that I said for each and every one of those restaurants or fast food chains. So what I did was a guy from Josiah, his name is Josiah. He reached out to me and was like, hey, I feel like we can get you some merch and you could wear those in these videos. I'm like, oh, say less. So I think the next biggest milestone, piggybacking off of what I said before, was when I hit 500K, he hit me up and we got closed it. And it was called a parody font. So it's not the actual font, but it looks just like the actual font. And I have some clothes, which I think I still got them right now. It looks like Burger King's logo, McDonald's logo, Chick-fil-A logo, or whatever the case is. And I will wear those and say my catch slogans every time I wore those in those videos. And in 2 weeks from selling merch from the launch day, 2 weeks, I made $2,500. That's how much I made. Their company made a lot more than that, obviously, because, we working together. But for me, somebody that's just making videos, making $2,500 in 2 weeks from clothes. Oh yeah, that's nice. That's nice. But anyways, back to the mill though. So after I was doing that for a while, the talent agency hits me up at about 700K. And I just kept doing, there's 3 things that I started doing: the fast food videos, I did the smack fire videos, and I started doing these debate videos. So debate videos is if you take 2 similar products, like we'll say Coke and we'll say Pepsi. People like Coke more, people like Pepsi more. And then you have a off brand, which is not really off brand, but I'll say RC. Everybody knows those 3 brands. So you take those 2 brands and you have them battle against each other, and you just say facts about each one of the brands, and you just put your own comedic twist on it. And then you throw in a 3rd brand that people really don't like as much. And I call that the dummy character, the one that people just roast them or whatever the case is.
Right.
And I started doing those videos until I hit a mill. And once I hit a mill, man, that was so huge to me, because in 9 months, if you would have told me 9 months prior to that, like, bro, you're going to hop on TikTok and you're going to hit a mill in only 9 months. When I was doing this, I was doing videos for a while before that on Instagram. And for Bang Energy, I would have never imagined I would have had 1 million followers that just cared about how my day was going or what I'm doing or the content that I'm making. So that was probably one of the most dope feelings in the world right there.
I bet. And does TikTok do anything special for 1 mil? Like, how YouTube does, these milestones with that, where they'll send out like the different play buttons. Does TikTok have that?
No, they don't. Only thing they was a care package. They did send me a care package. It was like a thermos and like a shirt and things like that. Dope. So, but it's still dope. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was the next big milestone for me, was hitting that mill. And after that was that blue check mark. That blue check mark came in. I don't know. It's like but the check mark, believe it or not, bro, it's not nothing crazy. It's not like oh man, you got a blue check mark, so you making crazy amounts of money. It's like a popularity contest. You know what I mean? It's like sitting at the cool table at lunch. That's pretty much all it is. If I can describe it in a way, it's literally just like sitting at the cool table at lunch.
That's exactly how and not to, rain on your parade. I mean, I love you, but I always find it funny how many people care about that blue check mark. I'm like, it's just that they verify your identity. Like, what the
That's it, bro. That is literally all. But it's like a popularity contest. If you have that blue check mark, it's like you valid. You are valid.
Right. It's like they took the time to actually check into you, I guess.
Yeah. So it's like when I first got it, it was cool. But now it's just like, people like, bro, you verified? I'm like, yeah, it's cool. It's okay.
So question, just out of curiosity then. So, you said Bang was your first, these headphones. Do you still work with any of those earlier brands? Are you still working with Bang or have how does that work as you grow? I always curious about that, because obviously when you're starting, they get you for cheap, which you don't have a big audience, so it makes sense. So I always kind of wondered, is it hard to get them to grow with you as a content creator? Like, is it hard to get them like, okay, listen, I hit a mill, time to increase the pay, or do they kind of fall off and you replace them, or how has that worked, at least for you in your case?
So for me, Bang started me off on Instagram, and I didn't even have 10K at the time. So I reached out to them and I applied and was like, hey, I can bring this to the table. I have this many followers. What's up? And they loved it. They loved my idea of content, because you have to kind of give them a storyline of what kind of videos you do. And they loved it. They were like, we're trying to bring different kind of people on board. And on top of having the fitness side of things, we want to bring comedy over. But I'm like, as far as me not having 10,000 followers and you still wanted to like hear me out, that's dope. So I was making, it was like $25 per video, but I could only post 2 videos a week. So it was $50 a week. But when you're talking about somebody who never had a brand deal at all, $50 a week to post some videos, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. There's no problem at all. So I started doing that for a while, and as my following started to increase, it went from $25 to $50 a video. But you can only post 2 a week, so that's $100 a week. Then it went from 50 to 75, so it's $150 a week. And at a certain point in time, at that, when TikTok came out, my following increased a lot. So I hit him up and I was like, hey guys, I feel like, could we switch my contract over from Instagram to TikTok? Because I'm trying to, I think at the time it was like 700,000 followers on TikTok. So I'm like, my views are crazy. I'm averaging this amount of views. What's up? And they were just like, nah, no, we could switch over your contract, but it'd be the same pay rate. And I'm like, well, I mean, the views and the followers are like literally 100 times. Like I'm
astronomical
like
difference.
Yeah. So they were like, nah, I mean, I was like, oh, it's okay. Never mind. Forget about all that. Then I'll just keep my contract with Instagram. And they kind of screwed me over, not trying to talk down on them, but they were like, well, since you brought it to our attention, if you don't sign with us through Instagram, through TikTok, then we're just going to cut your contract with Instagram. I'm like, I reached out to you to try to convert over. And now that you see my numbers are over here and you're trying to give me the same pay rate, if I don't go over here, you're just going to cut this over here. I'm like, well, if that's the case, then I talked to Jason Derulo. And he basically was like, I understand that you need the money right now, because I was still having a part-time job where I was at, but he was like, don't do that. Don't do it. Don't cut yourself short. And it was kind of dope hearing somebody up high up hear you, and know who you are and say that kind of stuff. So I'm like, you know what? He's right. So I didn't sign with him, and I lost all forms of income besides my part-time job. So that was rough until my talent agency hit me up and we started getting the ball rolling. That was tough, going from making something to literally making bare minimum. You know what I mean?
And were you still working a normal job at that time then? I mean, I'm assuming you would have had to. Weren't you, but weren't you working at a mattress place?
Yeah, I was working at a mattress firm.
You were done I know you started in Ponderosa, or I don't know how long you were there, but then I know you were working at the mattress place. And is that where you worked until then you kind of took off, or?
Yep. It was in 2018. It's my first time I went to LA, and I went to LA, and there's a good friend of mine, Timothy. He seen my videos on Instagram and was like, hey bro, your videos are pretty funny, but I can help you in these areas, because he knows this to a T when it comes to his shots, when it comes to his angles, color correction. So he was like, why don't you come fly out here and you could stay with me and my girlfriend at the time. And I was like, you sure? You don't even know me. But you sure? He was like, yeah, come on out. I'm like, wow. So he welcomed me into his home. And my first time in LA, we went to a party for it was for Zeus Network. And It was like RSVP. It was red carpet. I'm talking about a bunch of people that I've seen on the screen, but I've never seen in person. I'm like, bro, this is what y'all doing out here? I went back home and I put in a leave of absence for work for like 3 months. And I was like, I'm going to focus on content. And after I did that, I went back to work, but I'm like, I don't want to be full-time. I want to be part-time. So I was only doing like 3 days a week. And then from that, I was like, okay, let me get like 2 days a week. And so I just watched my money dwindle down because I'm focusing all on content. I'm not bringing a lot of money in. So when Bang dropped me, it was another hit. I'm like, wow, man, but this is what I want to do. So sometimes you got to invest in yourself and you got to take that leap of faith. So I was going out to LA once every other month, collabing with different people out there and getting my name out. So I was growing a following, but I'm still not bringing in money. You know what I mean? So
were you flying or driving that trip?
I was flying. Flying.
You had to be. I mean, to go out once a month, I feel like you'd have to. I drove it one time, dude. It was like well, I made a lot of stops on the way, but I stopped in Colorado Springs. I stopped at the Grand Canyon, but still, I mean, I took a 2-week trip, dude. And by the time I got to LA, I felt like I had zero time and had to start heading back home with 2 weeks. So I would not recommend anybody try to drive it all the way from the East Coast.
Man, I can't.
So yeah, you're spending an arm and a leg then just to still go out there and do this stuff. But obviously, I mean, it's paid off for you. What I would argue is the right move. It reminds me of like the Gary V content, like fucking live with 20 other people and eat ramen if it means you're reaching your dreams,
bro. Yes. I really rock with Gary Vee. Gary Vee is so smart, bro. He is so smart.
I don't know if that he's so smart, like, you know, and he is, but I mean, I don't know that it's so much that he's so smart that makes Gary Vee special, as just that, like, it's just truth. Like, he's just like, listen, it's your fucking dream. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, quit being a dumbass and go after it. Like, it's your dream.
Do it.
So, so going back though, one question I had, because you were talking about, you know, sometimes you got to do this stuff, and when we're talking about, so one question that popped up, because you said, you know, you were doing these Bang energy drinks, you didn't have a lot of following, you were getting $25 a video, $50 a week. You're right, that's not a ton of money, of course, for, you know, especially the area we live in, Ohio. $50 a week's not bad to us. But I hear a lot of content creators, especially successful ones, that kind of say, like Jason Derulo did to you, like, no, don't take it. Don't sell yourself short. Don't sell yourself short. And I'm always been on the fence of it. So kind of my question I pose to you is, like, you hear bigger content creators all the time, like, telling smaller content creators, don't take small deals. It hurts the industry as a whole, because then, you know, companies can get more creators for less money. It kind of stops that money flow coming in. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, if there's a newer content creator, let's say someone that has 5,000 followers on TikTok, 5,000 followers on YouTube, and they can get one of those deals where they might just make, you know, 50, $100 a week. I mean, do you personally see any downsides of that? Do you agree with that mentality now that you have grown? Do you understand where those more successful creators are coming from? Or do you think at the end of the day, like, just get your fucking bread however you can?
So I'm glad you asked that, because looking back on my situation, I'm glad I didn't take it. But if I were to talk to another content creator, like you said, 5,000 followers, if he can get $100 a week doing whatever videos they're making, doing whatever, I would tell him to do it. Like, I got my brother of mine, he works with this brand called The Coldest Water. And I feel like they asked him to make 10 videos, as long as he shows the product, 10 videos, and they'll give him $250 total. And I was like, bro, go for it. One, because it's a resume builder. I understand that it may hurt the industry, and I get that, but you got to realize it's a resume builder for yourself. And two, if this is what you want to do, that looks good. Like, say, for instance, I work with Bang Energy, and I was getting $25 a video. When I reach out, when say another brand reaches out to me, like, hey, you know, who have you worked with? Oh, I worked with Bang Energy. They're nationwide. You know what I'm saying? That sounds good on your resume. You know what I'm saying? It sounds
for
good.
Sure.
So I honestly, I would do it. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't, because, you know, their stipulations were kind of, it was a little bit more, but I would tell people to do it. I would definitely say do it, because if you're trying to do this full time and you want to make a living out of this, it's a good resume builder, and you're still getting something. You're still getting something in your pocket.
Yeah. And obviously, like you said, in your situation, you know, it wasn't just the money. There was other stipulations. They were more trying to take advantage. And, you know, I definitely see that, where that could then be a turnoff, and you're like, no, don't do it. But it's funny, just because, you know, and the reason I wanted to ask is because you have grown and you've seen it for both sides, because I always personally find it a bit hypocritical, because those same content creators that are telling people not to take those low brand deals and stuff, they're also the same ones that are then posting, like, you know, reach out to your favorite top creators and offer to do work to them for free to get your name out.
Yep. Yep.
I'm like, wait.
Literally.
Like they don't see themselves as a company almost. It's like they like these big bad companies, but it's okay for them to do it because they're just a lowly content creator or whatever. So it always cracks me up. But
man, I was thinking about that too. I'm like, when Jason told me not to take it, I'm like, bro, you already made it. I understand $100 may not be nothing to you, but bro, I am struggling.
Should have said, yo, Jason, how about you invest in me then?
Right, invest in me.
Listen, just joking. Jason, you know, I don't know him personally, but Derulo, man, his TikTok is fucking gold too, man. Oh my God. That dude came on TikTok and he was probably one of the first big creators I remember seeing on there, like, you know, celebrity people that came to TikTok. Oh my God. He fucking did good, man. Even the latest trend, the song, "Oh No, I Hope I Don't Fall." That shit he did was dude, that's so funny, man. But
he's creative,
anyways,
man. He knows what he's doing.
yeah, he is. He's a smart dude too. I mean, just, you know, from seeing what he does on platforms from a distance. Again, I don't know him at all. Okay, so kind of moving then. So I do want to, you know, kind of stop one more spot in your career, and then if it's okay, like I said, I kind of want to jump into maybe some practical advice for other, you know, newer content creators trying to grow, or even mid-range. I mean, because, you know, I say newer, but the fact is you could probably help a lot of people, because you're now almost closing in on the big 5 million. I think you're what? When I looked a couple days ago, you were at like 4.3 million followers on TikTok. Is that correct? Or where are you sitting at today?
I'm almost at 4.4. I think I need like about 10,000 followers more, and then I'll be at a 4.4. So
I'm assuming just based on how our human brains work, 5 million got to be a huge milestone for you. I mean, I feel like it has to be.
It is. 5 that's the one that I want. As soon as I hit 1, I'm like, my next one is 5. I didn't even go 2. My next one is 5.
Right. Yeah, that number just kind of multiplies as you grow, I feel like. But so do you have, and I don't, maybe this is, but do you have any plans for when you hit 5 mil? Any special thing you're planning on doing, or is it just like hanging out with some friends and going to a party? I mean, what do you do at 5 million?
So what I want to do is something that I was talking to my brother about. I would like to, obviously it depends on what's going on with COVID or whatever the case is, but I would love to host, like get an area and host for anybody that wanted to show up and kind of like I don't want to call it like a giveaway, but like basically kick it day with whoever wants to show up. I'll try to get some content creators and then like other creators that I'm friends with, and just host people to meet up at this location and just have a good day. You know, we could collab, take pictures, do videos, whatever the case is. But 5 mil is a huge milestone. So if I can get some of my content creation friends and we all just pitch in and rent out a location and just have people go there and just meet and greets, videos, pictures, content, you know, whatever you want to do, I think that would be dope.
Yeah, and if you I mean, you know, giveaway, cool, but also if you were just selling merch for people that, you know, can't win a giveaway, because obviously you're limited on how much you could give away, it'd probably pay for the venue itself, to be honest. I mean, because I don't know what you do nowadays in terms of merch and stuff, but it's crazy what some of these creators make just off of merch and stuff.
Creators are killing it just off of merch. They're killing it.
Yep. So will that be in LA then? Probably, I'm assuming, with like
your one of the bigger cities. Probably LA, if I'm being honest with you, because that's where the most people I know is located at.
They're also the most restrictive with COVID right now.
I know.
Miami's blowing up. Yeah. That mayor down there is pretty dope, dude. He's into crypto and he's a smart dude. He's turning politics into content creation, honestly.
That's hilarious.
But Miami could be a good spot.
That's why I said a poppin' area. Probably LA, but depending on the restrictions, if it got to be New York, it got to be Miami, it got to be something.
Yeah, that would be dope. All right, so cool. So possibly like a meet or greet, at least that would be like what you would dream of, depending on COVID restrictions. So that's cool. All right. Well, I mean, I don't hope. I know you're gonna fucking crush 5 million, and then maybe one day we'll be talking and you'll be reaching up. You'll be 100 million on a platform followers.
I hope.
Wouldn't that be ridiculous, dude?
100 million, bro. 100 million.
You got the personality for it, man. Like, you're fun, you're likable. You seem, I mean, to me, you've always seemed like a genuine dude. So I mean, I can see it. So, all right. So moving into anything you want to, well, before we do that, anything you want to add about your backstory? Anything, you know, maybe that you want to add to kind of that time log? That I maybe skip anything? Or I mean, I know I skipped from 1 mil to 5 mil, but
what I would say, just kind of like piggybacking off of stuff that we said before, anybody who, if you're ever thinking about doing content and you really want to, literally just do it. Like, people think that you need all this dope equipment, all these cool flashy phones, all things like that. You don't need any of that. You can use a regular phone. You can use an iPhone 5, an iPhone 6, whatever. You don't have to get a camera. You don't need any type of microphone, nothing crazy. Just do it. If you really want to do it, you can do it. And I know it sounds so cliche. If you want, you can do anything you want to do. But no, seriously, like, I am living proof of that. Like, I'm not even in a big area, you know what I mean? But you can literally do anything that you want to do. You don't need any type of flashy gadgets. You just gotta have the mental, like, you gotta want it, and you gotta be focused, and you have to actually want it, you know. But if you want to do it, you can do it. You can really do it. I went down to LA and everybody was so nice to me. Knowing I didn't even have 10K at that time, and people were so friendly at that Zeus party. There's people like Dancing Dan, the dude that does the dance with his legs or whatever case his beard. He was on Wild and Out. Like, he was so cool to me. Like, nice. I got videos with him. Like, people like Daystorm from Vine, King Batch. You know, we went to Paul Pierce's area, and everybody out there, it's like, you think that they would be stuck up all about numbers, things like that, but no, they welcomed me like I was just a regular person. And that's when I knew, like, yeah, this is dope. Like, they just living their best life, having a good time. So if anybody's out there and they want to do anything, it doesn't even have to be content. Whatever it is that you want to do that.
I think it'll make you happier in the long run. And I think that's what really, really does matter in life. So let me ask you then some quick kind of we'll transition a little bit, some quick kind of then guidelines. Like that's all great, you know, and I believe it 100%, and I agree with you 100%. But let's go a little bit into the technical details then. So what kind of gear did you start with?
I had an Android phone, and I shot on.
Do you remember what kind?
It was wow.
I mean, like, was it like a Samsung Note or got like a brand new one?
It was a Note. It was a Note 2.
Okay.
It was a Note. I think so. Note 2 or Note 3. That's the first phone that I shot on.
The in little 2017 or that was 2012?
Yeah, 2017.
Okay. So that wasn't even like a brand new Note at that time.
Mm-mm.
I mean, because we're on what, like Note 21, which they skipped from 10 to 21. But I'm saying, so if you just go back the years, I mean, they had to be out with like Note 5, Note 6 in 2017. Mm-hmm. So you were using an older, you know, it was a popular phone, but it was an older Note 2. I'm just trying to stress to the audience here, because I agree, you don't need as much gear as you think you do. The cool gear is nice, but you don't. So a Note 2, whatever, around there, microphones, anything like that, or?
Nope, no microphone, just the mic that was on the phone.
And what was your, how were you editing videos? What was your editing skills? Did you have any editing skills when you started this? Was it?
So before you helped me out, I was using free editing softwares. I was using something called Wondershare. Wondershare is free. It may not be the most, you can't do too much with it, but it got me by. I mean, but even now, people can use iMovie on your phone. Like there's so much stuff that you can use. You don't need Premiere. I use Premiere now, but you don't need Premiere. But there's free ones out there. Wondershare. There's another one that I can't remember the name of it. But if you just type in free editing software,
yeah, DaVinci is a good one for
yeah.
Yep.
Even so, you can do it on your phone too. You don't even have to have a computer. That's the beauty of technology nowadays. You can literally do everything on your phone.
Yeah, it's crazy, the device that everybody has in their pocket. Even again, out like you said, outside of content creation, the ability for drop shipping. Like you can order items off your phone from China and turn around and sell them on Amazon. And the people I know that are killing it doing that, or people that literally all they do is design merch on their phones and list it on Amazon, these different, shirts and stuff, and sell t-shirts. And it's crazy the amount of power that's in one of these little devices nowadays. And I don't think people realize it, even if you're talking about a phone 5-6 years old. Okay. So if somebody's starting out, let's say, so actually, can I be a little selfish? So I think it'll help for the real. So I told you about TikTok early, but I did not get on it myself. Reason being is I had no idea what I was creating at the time. I was creating, but it was kind of all over. I finally settled in on creating travel vlogs and creating gaming content. COVID happened, so it's been mostly now I pretty much strictly create gaming content. And then I do like this podcast, which is just kind of about tech content creation, just because I enjoy it and it's fun to do. I did start posting on TikTok. Obviously, TikTok's a whole different beast nowadays than it was when you started. Any platform, 100%. As we were talking about early on, any platform as it starts to mature, it gets harder and harder to then get organic views, what we call organic traffic, free traffic. TikTok's still pretty good at it, even today. I mean, I've had videos that I've posted, like you said, some will be great, some will be hit or miss. I've had videos that I posted that have gotten 50. I think my top one has like 70,000 views on it right now on TikTok. There's several other that have like, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 views. Random ones. So, my fault. Now I found it harder to get people to hit that plus button because my stuff's mainly gaming content. So it's funny moments from gaming, clips from my live streams. So I'm sitting at like 500 followers. So I say all that just to set up again, not to actually help me because, I don't really care, but I think it'll give a good setup. So someone like me in my shoes, they're making TikTok content. They're starting to get some followers. I've been doing it for about a month consistently now. That's it. 500 followers, which is still crazy to me. Even in 1 month, you can get 500 followers on a platform, but nonetheless, so what are some practical steps someone kind of new to creating? They are creating content. We're not, if you're brand new to content creation, this isn't the conversation for you, because I think there's enough of that already out there on how I really think honestly, if you're a brand new content creator, the advice is create a bunch of content.
create a bunch
That's
of
just going to
content.
improve your skills. It's going to improve. You're going to grow knowledge by doing it on the platforms. You're going to start to see what works, what doesn't, things like that. So someone's doing it. They're small. They know they love content creation. They know it's what they want to do. What's some practical steps? I guess specifically for TikTok, I don't know what other platforms you're still using today, but that's obviously your bread and butter is TikTok. So what's some practical steps that you think could help smaller content creators growing on TikTok?
So I'm glad
it might be broad. I don't know, but.
Oh, no, you're good. I have the perfect answer for this because I studied TikTok to a T. I know when I post a video if it's going to do well or not. So firstly, the fact that you're doing gaming is great because gaming is in my opinion, I feel like it is one of the fastest ways to grow on TikTok. I really do. And I'll explain that why in a little bit. But if practical tips of what I would do, say you're at 500 followers, you're getting a couple videos that's doing pretty well. How to get people to press that follow is giving them a reason to. So say, for instance, people love parts. People love part 1, part 2, part 3. However many times have you watched a TikTok and you've seen it, you watch one, only say part 3 blew up, and you get to the heat of the moment where it's like, oh, say there's a fight, and part 3 was the fight. So part 3 of the fight has 800,000 likes, 2 million views, and then you're going to wonder what escalated up to this. So you click that page and you find part 1. You watch part 1. Then you watch part 2. You watch part 3. Then you watch part 4. You just watch 4 of their videos the whole way through.
Right.
So if you're interested, let me follow this. This page is actually kind of nice. So people love parts, which is why recently, a little while ago, I started doing part 1, 2, 3, 4 to a different series. I did a bad villain. I did, people love series in general, like the fast food Chick-fil-A thing. People love series of that. I give every type of situation that could happen in a fast food restaurant. People love debates. Like whatever you do that works, do more of that in a different way. So that's the easiest way to explain the content. You ever know, like, what's something that you watch on TikTok? Who's one of your favorite people that you watch on TikTok that you love?
I'm probably a little different because I'm always in the mindset of, it's funny because I don't have any platforms I'm huge in. And again, I think a lot of it's been because I've not been consistent in content. But one thing I've always enjoyed is learning about the platforms and then teaching that to others like yourself and stuff. So I don't have a lot of favorite content creators because I'm always purposely looking for different content creators to try to see what different people are doing. But I would say if I had to pick a couple, they would be in the gaming industry. I think Tim the Tapman's, I don't know if you know who that is. Tim the Tapman, his content's funny. I also like, there's a girl called Lori, Lorii, that does a lot of Phasmophobia content, which is a horror game. I love horror game content. So she does a lot of that. There's a content creator called Angry Pug. He's not on TikTok, but I follow his content on a lot of stuff. So it's a lot of, like, for me, it's a lot of horror gaming content that I like to see and watch.
So imagine, we'll say Tim the Tapman. Tim the Tapman posted this video of him in Warzone, and you see part 2 of whatever happened. You're going to see what happened on part 1. So essentially what happens is whatever works on your TikTok, whatever you see working, do more of that, but in a different way. So piggybacking off of what I do, like I did a video where it was me in a drive-through and how it'd be like when the coupons expired. So then you I did a video of that. Then you do like, okay, what about if you want to order 2 items or 2 separate orders in the drive-through? Do that. So it still consists of that same drive-through. So for instance, if you're a gamer, if you play Among Us and people love your Among Us content, do Among Us, like Chronicles of Among Us Part 1. And then be like, okay, what happened after that, part 2, or like for a part 2 type deal. It's all about getting people to want to follow you. So whatever works on your page, do more of that. Even like you said before, your video where you're doing tutorials, people love your tutorials. So if you show how to do different things, those tutorials, I guarantee you those tutorials have more views than anything else that you would normally post because people look to you for advice. They look to you for help type deal. So whatever you do, that first video that takes off, do more of that. That's why people have different series of videos. Like there's this guy that oh man, what is his name? Oh, I can't even explain it. There's this guy that I follow on TikTok and he does the same video, but he switches up the scenario every single time. Like there's a song by Kevin Gates. And it's like when your dad when you get caught sneaking into the house or whatever the case is. And he uses that same soundboard for every situation. So it's like, okay, you get caught sneaking in the house. What about if you get caught with a girl in the house, or if you get caught doing this? He uses the same soundboard through the whole time. Or that one guy where you see something that looks weird but in a sexual way, and he's like, sir, he'd be like, get me that fish or whatever. Get me that fish. He does every different scenario of that because it works.
That's
so if you have any type of it, like my advice to anybody that's going on TikTok is, once you have that one breakaway video, do more of that, but in a different way. I guarantee you will blow so fast. Guarantee.
So I have two questions based off of that. I think great advice. So there's two questions that come to mind, and again, I'm kind of using my own experience because I think it'll help other people. So one thing I've always struggled with that concept is, how do you balance that creating what you want to create versus creating that stuff that is just like, for example, for me, like, again, just because I think it'll help other people out. One thing that blew up for me was when I was playing a game called Subnautica on TikTok, but I beat the game. I could have recreated it or replayed it, made more content. Like, it was a game I could have replayed, but I didn't want to. So how do and so, like, let's say, like in my example, I would consider myself to be a variety streamer. Someone like Tim the Tapman plays the same game for quite a long time. And that, and at least in my experience, and maybe you can tell me if different, but from my experience of watching, it seems like the people that do extremely well on platforms, it tends to be they're known for one specific game, or they're known for one specific type of content. So how do you like, do you just basically like let's cut the BS and get right down? Do you just have to basically say, like, listen, you either got to decide to grow, or and do the content that's working for you and only focus on that, even if it might not be the content you're actually wanting to create at that time? Do you think there's some kind of mix in there where you do a little bit of that, but you're also doing your like how have you looked at that problem of, because I'm sure there's like, there had to be maybe not, I don't know, I guess I'm asking, there had to be a time where, like, you got tired of the Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, Burger King thing, or you ran out of ideas for a new thing. So how do you either handle those transitions, or do you just try to, like, beat it, just keep beating it out? Like, just what's your thought process around that? If you, am I making sense what I'm asking?
No, that's a great question. And I'm glad you asked, because literally, like you said, cut the BS. In the beginning stages, when you're first starting to grow, essentially you do have to, even if you don't like it, you have to grow an audience. So people say in the beginning, like for me, when I first started the fast food videos, it was funny to me. After a certain point in time, spoiler alert, I really didn't like to make them anymore. I really didn't, because honestly, I watch them and people love them, but they're not as funny to me. Like, they're not as funny to me. Like, I look at them like, it's silly, but they're not as funny to me. But people love those, so I still made those to grow a following. But when you grow a following, and if you're genuine with your audience, and you're actually a genuine person, and you communicate with them, there's sometimes people will follow you just to follow you. For example, me, I'm huge into Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx makes a movie, I'm gonna watch it. I have no idea what the movie's about because I like Jamie Foxx. Right. So being said that, when you grow like an authentic audience and people that actually like you for you, then you can start doing what you want to do. But you do have to grow that audience. So in a way, you do kind of have to post what they want to see. But after you grow an audience and they like you for you, then you can do what you want to do. Because the content that I do now, I do different bad villain videos. I love those. I do different videos where it's like, I take a situation in a video game and make it into real life. Like, I love those kind of videos. Now I can make those and they'll do well because I grew an audience to where they like just me enough to where they'll watch almost anything that I post, which I love that. I'm very grateful for that. But in the beginning stages, you do kind of have to post what they want, because you're giving them a reason to watch you. And once they like you, like, oh man, this dude is so silly, bro, they'll put you on to their friends. Like, hey bro, come check out Derek, man, this dude is silly. Get another follower. Right. And then you can kind of, you got to balance it. Still post this stuff that you may not like, but keep throwing stuff that you do like in the middle of that kind of stuff. So it's just like, then maybe somebody will be like, oh, I didn't know he played this game, I'm gonna follow him for this game. And then you're growing an audience for the game that you actually like to play. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep, that makes sense. There's a content creator I watch on YouTube. I don't know if you ever heard of her. She's based out of New York City, called Sarah Dietschy. But she creates, she does a lot of vlogs and stuff. I've always enjoyed like the Casey Neistat style videos, vlogs, Peter McKinnon. So she does those, and the way she always explains it is, she started doing it at the beginning, and then what she realized was what she started to do, and the way I always try to explain it to other content creators personally is one for them, one for me, one for them, one for me. Like it's kind of like, yes, you still do that, but you kind of, for her, that at least that's what worked. Like I said, some content creators I know, they only care about getting bigger numbers, gaining more followers. And I don't want to say they're in it for the money, but everybody would love to make a living creating stuff, but so they only focus on that. So I just know everybody's a little different. So it's always, I always enjoy hearing how somebody else thinks about that. The second question I have based on what you were saying. So something like you said, the part 1, 2, 3, that is great advice. That is tremendous advice, actually. And as you were saying it, I realized I myself do that. Like you said, I see a part 3 and it has blown up. I'd never seen part 1 or part 2. It's just in my For You, feed or whatever. And I click on the person's profile, go back and watch the other parts. And 9 times out of 10, as long as it's good content overall, they're going to get that follow. You're right. So my question is, this might be a little more, I don't want to take it into the weeds too much, but to me, what's interesting there is that you notice that and notice to start doing that, if that makes sense. So to me, I would almost peg that as a type of consciousness. How do you think someone develops? Because I would argue, and I could be wrong on this, but I know myself, until you just mentioned that, instinctively, as soon as you mentioned it, I knew it was true, but I'd never noticed that as a way of growing an audience, as a way of, I've seen it on TikTok 1,000 times. So how do you think someone can develop that awareness? Maybe that's a better word to use, to start catching those things in their feed, to start noticing those little tips and tricks from other content creators. Does that make sense? Do you think there's a way to do that? Do you think it's just something you naturally have? That's just a gift you have. You pick up on those things real easily, or was it something you developed?
For me, I noticed it because I'm very intuitive. I look at a situation. It's like, I remember watching a video, and this guy, he does magic. His Jabri, I think it's Jabrizi. He does magic, and he does it so well. You know Jabrizi? He does it so well. What he'll do, he's a good guy. What he'll do is he'll post a video, and he'll get your eye, because the things that are important on TikTok now is watch time and engagement. I wouldn't even say so much of engagement. Just watch time is the most important thing. If you're watching a video all the way through, that's what pushes it to other people's For You page. So he does this thing where it's like, he'll set up a prank. He'll set up the prank and he gets you engaged. You're like, okay, what's he about to do? He'll set it up to where you're watching the whole entire thing. And then as soon as it gets to the end, follow for part 2. And then you're like, oh, well, what happened? Hold on, what happened? You can't just build me all the way up. So you click his page, you find a video that you just watched, go to part 2. You see what happened. And sometimes it's this big reveal. Sometimes it's kind of small, but you just watched that whole video and got his watch time up to get his numbers up. And if the trick was cool, you press that follow, like, oh, this dude's pretty good. So I feel like how to grow an awareness for it. If you're a content creator and you want to start doing that, you have to, it's kind of like a cliffhanger, watching any type of TV show or any type of anime. I'm huge into anime. They leave you with cliffhangers, and you'll be like, all right, one more episode. You watch it to the end. You're like, yo, I got to see what happened. I got to see. So you watch another episode. So think about it like that. What can you do to pull your audience in a little bit more? So for me, if I was a gamer, which I'm going to start getting into streaming real soon, I just built my PC. But
nice.
What I would do is I would post a clip. Say I'm playing, I don't know, we'll say Among Us, or we'll say Fortnite. And we're in a intense gun battle, shooting it up, whatever the case is, built to the top, say I jump off, and then like for part 2. You know what I'm saying? Like for part 2. You just see I jumped off a map. You're like, oh, did he kill himself? Did he win? Did he get the dub? Whatever the case is, you find the video, boom, he got the dub. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that, and I feel like you have to think of cliffhangers and think of how to pull an audience in. That is something that you have to naturally think about. Nobody just off the top of the dome is like, how can I pull the audience in? You're just thinking about, what can I do that's funny enough to get a follower, not how to reel somebody in. But
is there any creators that you follow that specifically are good teachers for TikTok content? Is there anybody on TikTok maybe you follow that you've learned a lot of stuff from, or has a lot of it just come from you stopping and thinking about what is this person doing that's working, and then turning that into your own stuff? Do you I guess that's the question. Do you watch anybody to learn any of this? And if so, do you have any recommendations, or is it just all come from that pause?
I watch a lot of people, not on, believe it or not, TikTok, I kind of learned on my own. Like TikTok is kind of like trial and error. but I watched other people before, and I still watch it to this day. These people are hilarious to me, like Caleb City, hilarious. Are you familiar with Caleb City?
I'm not. I will be after this podcast.
I gotta send you some of his videos. That dude, when I come, because you like gaming too, and you like, he takes a game situation and his creativity, because he does it all himself. He doesn't use anybody in his videos. It's just all him, and he's amazing. Caleb City, Long Beach Griffey, RDC World 1, King Vader, even Pierre. I would say Pierre Steps. Like, there's a bunch of people that I watch that what they do. Oh, Adam W was a huge inspiration in a lot of my content. But it's just they stretch the truth. They stretch the truth, and it's hilarious to me. But as far as TikTok, I can't really say that I've watched certain people on TikTok and learned from them. It was all more so just trial and error for me. I'm trying this, it didn't work. Okay, let's try this. Let's try this. Let's try this. Once I found something that works, do more of this. But like you said, one for you, one for me, one for you, one for me. But you don't want to be a one take Jake. So after you learn this works, I could post this, and this will always work. So let's try to reinvent myself. I'm gonna always post these because I know it's gonna work. Let's see if I could do this. And so you're still doing this, we're doing something else as well.
So you're still keeping that trial and error mentality of always tinkering and seeing what else might work or what new thing might come along, or which is great as well. I know we're hitting that hour mark a little bit past. I want to respect your time. I have like one more, maybe two more questions, if that's okay.
You're fine, man. You're good.
So you were mentioning watch time, and I know that is huge in the TikTok algorithm right now. Watch time, and you mentioned earlier comments, engagement, we'll call. A lot of people think just that like button matters, but more and more as algorithms get more advanced, how many people are actually commenting on the videos tends to matter, at least from my perspective, much more than even likes. If you don't have as much likes, but you have a lot of comments, I've seen videos perform much better versus the other way. Have tons of likes, not a lot of comments, and they'll kind of fall off pretty quickly. On those two things, first, watch time, because I think that's the easier of the two. Watch time, TikTok now allows up to 60 seconds. I think most people stay around 59 just to, make sure it's safe or whatever, but they allow up to 60 seconds. How often are you actually approaching that maximum time, and how much do you purposely try to keep the time? Do you find that the shorter the clip, the better? Or do you find that you can, as long as it's good content, it doesn't matter the length from that, 1 second to 60 seconds? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
No, it does. Believe it or not, I pay attention to my analytics like religiously. So watch time is so important to where, believe it or not, you can actually go up to 3 minutes now on TikTok. They added a feature in where you could do 3 minutes now. Yeah. But I when it comes to certain videos, it's different for me. So say for instance, watch time, it boils down to percentages. So if you do a 7-second video, it's much easier to get a lower percent watch time than it is to get, well, I guess it kind of depends. The safe number to be around is between 20 and 30 seconds. It is. Okay. That's a safe number to be around. My videos, if I'm doing a debate video, I'm stretching it all the way to like 59, usually always stretching to 59. But people like that. I've formed an audience around those debate videos where they stick around and they watch it. Right. But if you get above like between 40 and like 60% watch time, your video is going to do pretty good. But the shorter the video, believe it or not, is the harder it is for it to blow up. So it's weird. It's weird because you think, oh, if I make a short video, it probably will get it watched to the end. It should do well. But no, if you make a short video, it's a lot harder for it to blow up than it is for a longer video to blow up. So I think a safe number is between 20 and 30 seconds, and you just got to pay attention to your percentages of watch time.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, you're good. What a lot of people will do is they'll give you more of an incentive. Like they'll give you a teaser in the beginning. For instance, if you're watching a YouTube vlog, they'll show you the highest point of the vlog in the beginning and then start you in the beginning. They give you an incentive to want to watch more.
Yep. And so again, taking it back to someone smaller that's still trying to figure out what content works best for them, you're saying then you think the safe number is 20 to 30 seconds tends to perform 100%. Best according to analytics. But if you make a video that's 45 and it does well, and you learn something like your debates that work well, once you can find content that works long form. Calling 59 seconds long form. That's funny to me, but you can find something that works long form. You can find something that works short form, and those will work. But if you're starting out just trying to figure things out, 20 to 30 seconds is a safe bet. Is that what I'm
Yeah,
hearing?
100%. 100%. 20 to 30 seconds.
And then, okay, and then the second part of that question, the comments. So at the beginning, you said you've been trying to work on increasing your comments. It's super important right now. Why is it super important right now on TikTok? What did you mean by that?
So for instance, likes is cool, but I mean, believe it or not, people are buying likes. The reason why comments are more important to me is because people are buying likes. You can have a bunch of likes on your page, but if you're not getting a lot of engagement, then it's kind of pointless to me. Imagine if you commented on one of, we'll say, Tim the Tap Man, because you said you watch his content. Imagine you comment on Tim the Tap Man's video and he comments back and like, hey bro, appreciate the like. And your mind like, yo, he just responded to me. Like, that's fire. Same thing if I would have comment on Jamie Foxx's video and he's like, hey, yo, thank you for the love, man. That's dope. You feel like if you're an audience, if you're a content creator, you feel good because somebody that watches your content just showed love. And if you're the other way around, it's like, yo, this dude just, somebody that I look up to just comment back to me. So you're more entitled to watch his videos. You're building a relationship. So getting that actual comment and commenting back to each and every, like I get a lot of comments on mine. So the first hour and a half, I comment to every single comment back. I get every single comment back. But after a while, of course, it gets a lot. So I don't do all of them. But the first hour and a half, I respond back to anybody who liked or commented on my video. So it's like you're building.
When you say first hour and a half, just to clarify, are you saying right after you post a video for the next hour and a half, you'll sit there and respond to comments? Okay, I just wanted to clarify that's what you meant. Some people, you know, that I didn't know if you were just saying, you know, you spend an hour each day responding to comments. Do you ever go back on previous videos, or you post a video the next hour and a half, respond to those? Okay. Yeah. I do that. I'm not as big as you, but on my YouTube channel, I respond to every single comment ever. And it's crazy how many comments I get. And I do that because of a comment made by Gary Vee about, and how crazy he is responding to everything and talking about like, if you're under this many subscribers, how are you not responding to every single comment? And I took that to heart. And it is amazing how many people I've met that I've formed relationships with based just on the fact that they said, you must be like, I knew you must be a cool dude because you take the time to respond to every single comment.
That's what I'm saying.
Answer every single, like it's amazing. So second part of that question then. So it sounds to me more that it's not necessarily the algorithm you're worried about when it comes to comments, but more of that building the community aspect. So is it that you found for you that above all else, above algorithms, above whatever, what has worked best is building that community? And if so, what other ways or what other things have you done that you feel has helped grow that, turning people from just followers into more of a community?
Yeah, so commenting back on people's posts or comments is one thing that I found. And two, also making them understand that they have a choice in what you do. So for instance, sometimes people will comment and say, do a video. Somebody actually recently, they said, do Lamborghini versus Ferrari. All right, bet. So I took that comment and I did Lamborghini versus Ferrari. And then sometimes if you can reply to a comment, so you can hold that button and say reply to, and then upload the video. So to them, like, bro, he just did this video because of me. He did this video because of me. So you're building an audience, and that sounds cool, because imagine you do it to this person. He's like, he shows all his friends, hey bro, this dude, he just has this many followers. He did this for me, and boom, they're like, what? Seriously? So they may try to comment, and then I see that one, and I do one because of them. It's like you're building an audience, but you're also building a personal relationship, and that's what's really important to me, is building that authentic personal relationship with your followers. And I've had people reach out to me and like, hey, you ever thought about getting an intern to reply to your comments? I'm like, nah, I'm cool because I'd rather have that authentic engagement with my audience versus having somebody on the other end like that doesn't even know who these people are. Now I'd rather do it myself. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, 100%. And then last question, still related to community. How has TikTok live streams worked with building that community then? I saw, at least for a while, you were doing TikTok lives quite frequently. Do you still do those? Do you still find that those are a powerful feature for that community building and for growth on TikTok? Do you think it's died off a bit? What are your thoughts on live on TikTok specifically?
TikTok specifically, I stopped for like the past couple of months. I haven't been, which is funny that you say that because I have my whiteboard here. I actually put on that this week. I want to focus more so on live streaming, on all platforms, because again, it is a personal way to engage with your audience. They can ask you stuff, you can see it right there, and it's just, again, it's a personal connection. So, and I wish you can bring them in kind of like you could on Instagram, because on Instagram I used to do talent shows. Because again, so what I usually would do is I'd be on TikTok and say, hey guys, I'm going live here for about 10 minutes, but follow me on Instagram. I'm actually going to bring you in and you can do talent shows. So you bring them in, you go live, and I say I rate you. And the thing about it is, I'm honest with my ratings. Of course, it's all jokes or whatever, but if you do bad, I'm gonna let you know you did bad.
Right.
So, you bring those followers in, and it's like you're having a personal connection with them. It's just, we're on a screen like me and you are right now. They'll do a magic trick and they mess up, and I'm like, man. So if you guys like that in the comment section, put fires. If you don't, put a thumbs down. So it's like they feel good. You know what I mean?
Right,
on top of that, you're building that relation. So I really do think live streams on TikTok do work. They do, because again, building that personal connection, giving people more of a reason to follow you for you and not the content that you make. So
yeah, the problems with live streams is just that well, again, I'm coming from the experience of like Twitch, like live streaming games, is they take a lot of time to live. I mean, you can lose hours in a live stream easily. I don't know how it is on TikTok or Instagram when you're doing that. I don't know how long they would last, but I just know in general from people, I know their biggest complaint always is it can become such a time sink that then you neglect other areas of your content creation. But nonetheless, that's the last question I had, my friend. Like I said, I think that's a good place to wrap it up if you're okay with that. Do you have anything else you want to add? And then outside of that, if you can kind of, if you want to share any links to where the best place for people to find you is, your handles or whatever, or I don't know if you have a website that links to all your different socials. I always get on everybody if they don't.
I actually do. I have one.
Nice.
I actually do.
But anyways, yeah. Any closing thoughts? Any other suggestions or anything? Any asks of my audience? Anything like that? And then throw out your handles if you don't mind.
So again, kind of like I said before, which I probably should have ended with it again. If you guys want to do any type of content, you can. I think TikTok is definitely the way. It's the gateway for you to branch out and do other things. I don't think TikTok is an end point. I definitely think it's a starting point. You start on TikTok and you see a bunch of creators branch out and do other different things. That is the way to go. There's an audience tailored for everybody on TikTok. There's an audience for gaming. There's an audience for fashion. There's an audience for motorcycles. There's an audience for cars. There's an audience for everything. So whatever it is that you want to do, start that on TikTok, and then you're able to branch out and do other, like whatever it is that you want to do. So I leave it at that.
Well said. Well said. And where can people find you?
You can find me on TikTok at OMG It's Nike Finesse. You can find me on YouTube at OMG It's Nike Finesse, and on Instagram at Nike_Finesse.
Wait, that sounds awfully familiar. All right, guys. And as always, you can find all my stuff if you just go to my website, omgitsderek.com. Links to all my socials, the podcast, the YouTubes, the Twitch, everything's there. Best way to reach me. Yo, Nike, thank you so much for doing this. I know your time's very valuable. I super appreciate it, man. I hope someday we get to do a part 2 because you're a very knowledgeable man. And I think what you've shared will help a lot of people. So thank you. And guys, make sure you go follow Nike Finesse, because I'm telling you, he will be at 10 million in the blink of an eye. All right. Until next time. Peace out, everybody.
Take it easy, yeah.